Terrificon, Connecticut's biggest Comic-Con, returns to Mohegan Sun, August 9th to the 11th. Meet Billy D. Williams, Val Kilmer, Doctor Who's John Barrowman, and the voices from Animaniacs and Thundercats. New England's largest guest list of comic book artists from DC and Marvel Comics is at Terrificon on August 9th to the 11th at Mohegan Sun. Tickets on sale now at Terrificon.com.
Good morning. This is your faithful horror host, Edward October. Tune in to OctoberPod home video on YouTube, where each month we tell a new spooky story. What is OctoberPod, you ask? OctoberPod is the creepy urban legend told to you by a friend over a bottle of wine. OctoberPod is the long, restless night you spent in the basement, waiting for the storm to pass. Still curious? Subscribe to OctoberPod home video on YouTube, or follow me on Twitter at OctoberPodVHS. OctoberPod, the place where nightmare and nostalgia coexist.
Hey there, this is John from Pint Comics.
And I'm Lloyd, also from Pint Comics.
And I'm the other John, and you get it by now. As you may know, we sometimes use language on this show that can be described as...
Filthy.
Okay.
Reprehensible?
Crude?
Sure.
Nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, guys. We all know that it's just plain out gutter talk.
You've been warned. Listen in.
Welcome back to a very special Pint Comics. Not special, nothing special about it. Sir John, Johnny Ganache, and Lou Skywalker sitting around a table. And this is an old, like one of our old standby episodes. This is where we just talk about a bunch of different shit. John, what do you got on your... You brought a bevy of subjects. What are some of the subjects you want to talk about tonight here on the Pint?
Let's talk about Vertigo.
Vertigo Comics, DC's
The
imprint.
death of Vertigo.
It's over, Johnny.
So, yeah, now this was announced a few weeks ago, obviously. I mean, and whenever this episode comes out, it'll probably be like...
No, this will be next week.
Okay.
I try to put timely ones out right away, so...
I mean, I was trying to pick things that weren't necessarily needed to be done immediately.
Yeah, I'm going to get this one out.
This is stuff that we haven't talked about yet, and it's stuff that we should talk about. Now I'm gonna
you're
open that for a
everything.
bit. That's my seltzer, and it's gonna explode.
Ba-boom!
Just like Mad Max. Yeah. Anyhow, so Vertigo's dead.
It's been dying for a while.
Well, yeah, I've said as much that if it hasn't been dead, it's just like they're spreading the remains of the body out with a knife as far as they can take it.
Yeah,
smearing it across.
One little.
No, it's just, to me, it's, I mean, while it is sad, it also is just indicative of the entire rebranding they've been doing for years.
Well, that's the problem I'm having, is the way that the company is rebranding things, and the way they've been ignoring Vertigo from the even before they let Berger and Shelley Bond go. Well, Berger left, but with all the changes that we're going through, moving the company to Burbank, the buyout, the change, everything that was changing from DC publishing to DC Entertainment, which it really is now.
Right.
That's the linchpin right there, which a lot of it has to do with my best friend Dan Didiot and his butt buddy there, Jeff Johns. So.
Yeah, but Jeff Johns has nothing to do with it anymore, right?
Not
now,
anymore, no. But
right.
he was there at the point where Didio was going, I want to bring all those Vertigo characters back into the DC universe. Yeah, okay. Because it really works.
Its spiritual successor is the black line now.
Well, that's what they're saying.
I mean, absolutely
it's not
cannot say that. Basically, because of what Vertigo was, what they're doing with this DC Black line is essentially just making adult versions of the existing DC characters. Vertigo is so involved with creator-owned stuff, which it hasn't been for a long, long time. Obviously, with the recent change of Second Coming from Vertigo to Ahoy, when Second Coming was announced as a Vertigo title and was shot full of holes because it's about Jeebus and how he lives with a superhero. Oh no, we can't have that.
Yeah, let's not talk about Jesus.
So I mean that being an independently produced comic for the dead Vertigo line at this point, and then allowing it to be basically DC relinquishing the rights back to the creator is almost unheard of, especially now.
Yeah, the whole Vertigo started at what, like 1993? Was that the year?
I forget exactly when it started. 90 it was around there.
25 years of total life about, and in all reality, maybe 15 years of really fruitful life, because really in the last 8-9 years it's been
dead.
It's been dying. I mean,
it's been dead.
Hellblazer finished its run a long time ago,
and that was our buddy Dan Didiot trying to get the character back to the DC universe.
Right.
And he literally ran that character down. That storyline, if you remember it, the Peter Milligan run.
I never read it. I've read up until that point, and I have it all, and I've never read it.
That
93.
93.
That 300th issue of Hellblazer was obviously the story was rushed to finish.
Yeah, because it wasn't that, if I remember correctly, just from collecting it, it wasn't like they said for years Hellblazer's ending at 300. It was like earlier that year, they're like, we're ending it.
We're ending it.
Yeah.
I mean, the sales were down, obviously, but if you look at the sales of the Sandman universe, this oddball thing that they started a couple of months, at this point, it's like 6-8 months ago.
Yeah, I don't read any of that stuff.
I'm reading The Dreaming, and I tried most of the other books, which were mostly awful. You cannot strike lightning in that bottle again. It's done. If you want to continue those books again at some point, which apparently they're going to try, because none of those characters seem to be taking off in the DC universe proper. Well, then again, sales on the whole are not taking off proper. We can get into that if you want a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But Vertigo dying off the way they made it die off is pretty sad. I mean,
I agree. And then again, like Lou said, by saying that the spiritual successor is this Black Line, no, it's not. I read that shitty Batman Damned, if that's what it was called, and that's just a different format of book in total. This Sandman universe, is its own thing.
It's attempting to be Vertigo, but it's like Vertigo light.
Right.
I mean, most of the books that I've read from Karen Berger at Berger Books, at Dark Horse Line, or Shelley Bond's Black Crown, which is from IDW or Boom. No, it's IDW.
IDW, I think.
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean,
those are much more Vertigo-like than anything that's DC's trying to publish in a Vertigo frame. It's so awful.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I'm not trying to defend anything. I'm just bringing up the point that it's all new. And I mean, we don't know what books are going to end up there at the end of the day. I mean, they're made in the Black Line.
Well,
I don't think they know, because they have no idea what's going on.
There could be another Preacher or another Y.
No,
or
they're not.
I agree.
Another type of book like that. You don't. I mean, like I said, we don't know yet. It's also
These
new.
Black Line books,
not until they change the policies that they've got going on there. There will not be another book like that there.
especially these Black Line books, all being the oversized format and more expensive.
Yeah.
People are not going to dive. People are going to read a book like the Superman book by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. because either it's Superman or it's Frank Miller, John Romita Jr. But if you were to say, okay, we're putting out number one of this new thing at $6.99 or $5.99, and it's going to go on for maybe forever, people aren't going to jump on that shit, And I think what I wanted to bring up to John, that I know you're going to get to eventually, was they're taking Hellblazer and they're going to be putting it into the Sandman universe.
Yeah,
So that kind of proves to me that they're not doing that with the Black Line, because so now they have this character that has failed several different times in the regular DC universe. There have easily been 3, either John Constantine or Constantine Hellblazer or Hellblazer series, since Hellblazer ended in 6 or 7 years ago.
They made a cartoon character, the character itself
Yeah.
at this point. It's just...
I mean, they threw him in Justice League Dark.
That might be
his own book.
pale
and-
imitation.
That was not good.
No,
And-
I'm not disagreeing.
No,
I'm
I'm
just
just-
saying, but going back to what you were saying, they've tried to integrate him how many times?
Right, and the Justice League Dark book, which was fairly popular, at least in terms of like among circles, I think was the only time that maybe people really caught on to it because the actual
basically just the Shadow Pact.
right the actual John Constantine stuff they've done hasn't. So now they're kind of turning around and saying, okay, well, I don't think they've announced that it's the Vertigo version of Constantine who was at.
They haven't said anything other than it's Constantine in the Sandman universe, or whatever this thing is called. Fucking Sandman universe. What a fucking joke.
Right.
It's just,
Which he doesn't belong in anyway. I mean, he's not,
well, I mean, it's more Vertigo than anything else, so...
If you want to just say it's a Vertigo thing, then yeah, I mean, it just, I don't know. DC proves time and time again, and even, there are certain DC books that I enjoy, but like between DC and DC Entertainment and the movies and the shows, this just seems to be a company that like nobody knows what the fuck they're doing.
At this point, no.
Yeah.
I think with the AT&T buyout, things have really gone tits up.
Yeah.
I mean... and I mean that tits up, right through the freaking soil. They have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
I mean,
people have left. People have been fired. You're looking at mass layoffs.
Well, I mean, it's a textbook case of mismanagement from the top.
Sure.
That's, I mean,
And
like,
guess
that's,
who's still
really
there?
all. Well, I mean, that's really all it is. I mean, you look at any corporation, doesn't even have to be comics, can be any corporation. When they bomb like this and it all starts to like use your euphemism, go tits up, it is all just mismanaged. There's so many hands and so many managers in the pot that it just corrupts everything, and there's not one singular vision because everyone's overwriting everyone.
It just seems like there's so many things with DC Entertainment that prove this time and time. I mean, it's old news now for us. We haven't talked about it. But like the Swamp Thing TV show thing where it debuts and the day it debuts, it's canceled. And I'm an asshole because I actually, after several friends doing it, I actually paid for that fucking channel.
I did too.
Yeah, and I
Not enough
feel like
people did, though.
yeah, and now that's being absorbed into HBO.
Did you see if somebody died on the set of Titans, like one of the stuntmen or something?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, filming
Yesterday.
season 2 yesterday.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they were
That
filming.
sucks.
One of the stuntmen died just as a DC.
Actually, I think it was
thing.
the lead organizer of stunts. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He took a piece of metal to the head.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So
Yeah, I guess they're morphing into HBO WB or something is going to be the new.
I didn't read that.
Yeah, that's going to be so a year from now when
The streaming service goes away.
the streaming service goes away,
your $80
and my
is
$80
gone.
is gone, which again
gone.
was only for a year. But I really
Live and learn.
I had a choice. I was thinking about either DC Universe or Shudder, the horror one, and I
Shudder.
should have gone with Shudder, man, because that
They're
thing's
doing their own
proven.
shows now.
They do their own movies, their own shows. I mean, we talked to Scary Larry and other people through like the horror community, and they all love it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the end of Indiana Jones 3 when it's like you chose poorly.
Well, you also see.
That's another one, though. The streaming service was mismanaged.
Well, Netflix lost
Yeah.
$14 billion, and as of the time, I don't know when this is coming out, but in the real world, it was yesterday.
I read something,
They
a
lost
headline real quick.
$14 billion in a day.
I heard about that. I didn't know it was that big of a number,
it was
but
insane.
I know that they were screaming, like, "Oh no, what's going to happen?" Like, how? It's one day, man.
It was
what
because of
happened?
the it was because of the they came out and said they just didn't meet their goals because of the lack of content.
Well,
When they lost a lot, and they're ramping up with new shows and everything like The Witcher and all that. But when you lose Marvel, when you lose all your Disney properties and everything starts to go away, it's there's not a lot to replace it.
Yeah, if
it's a whole new warfare out there.
Yeah.
It's all these streaming services and companies that just want
Disney's
to do their
going
own
to put a
thing,
hurting
so-
on everyone come
Dude,
November.
if tomorrow, the
surprise.
the paper thin beef company stopped selling to McDonald's, they'd be fucked suddenly. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
oh shit, now
exactly.
we only have nuggets and fish fillets. Like this might not work too well. The Big Mac is now fucking just like bread and fucking like Thousand Island sauce, and that's what happened to
That's what it
Netflix.
tastes like now.
Yeah, but that's what happened to Netflix. Like you said, like Disney goes. We talked about it on a show not too long ago, and I kind of heard it. We were talking about this, about how we were at a point where everybody got tired of cable, and went to these a la carte services. And now these a la carte services are eating each other up to the point that people are going to go back to fucking cable.
Well, because if you really think about it, it's you pay for your internet to have access to all this, and then basically if you want to watch one show, you got to get this. If you want to watch another show, you got to get that. And like you said, they segment themselves so much that eventually everyone's just going to go, you know what, screw it. I'm going back to cable.
Yeah,
Well, let's put it this way.
It wraps back around.
For our show that we're going to be recording tomorrow with Scary Larry, what did you watch Phantom of the Opera on?
I own it because that's what I have.
Oh, right. You've got the box set.
The reason
right.
I did it was the box set. But yeah, granted, well, go ahead. Go with what you're going to say.
I watched it on the Internet Archive. These things are free to stream.
Okay.
The older movies, if they have it, it's there to stream. And that's where I've watched most of these things. That's why when we watched Dracula, and I was like, when was there music in this?
Yeah.
Because it had a newer version of it with the music attached, and I thought that was really strange. But
I think stuff like that is great. I don't know. I wanted to point out real quick before I forgot, though. I don't know, Lou, your experience with the DC, whatever it's called, the DC streaming universe.
Yep.
I used it mostly to watch Doom Patrol, which I really did love.
It was good.
But I will say this:
wasn't great.
Do
It was good.
you agree that like their menus and everything are the worst?
It's terrifyingly
It is-
hard to navigate.
It is the worst.
It really
streaming,
is.
Like I've got Hulu, I've got Amazon
because
Prime, and I've got Netflix, and those are all easy to use at some point or another. The DC Universe one, there's no category.
No, it's pretty bad.
Like to try to, it pretty bad. Is you're being fucking nice.
Well, I mean, that's my.
It's a fucking trash fire.
Yeah,
it's awful.
It's hard. And then they intersperse the comics into it too. It's like you have like a row of TV and then comics underneath it, and then like movies, and then you got to find a show, and it's like
it's one of those things that if it
it's
was
all
going to
over the
live
place.
past a year, if like I had gotten like some kind of like feedback, like what would you change? I'd be
user
like, change
interface.
your fucking interface.
it's
It is
weird.
the worst.
From what people have told me too is like the sheer amount of comic book content that's in there tripled overnight.
I
they
think that's-
basically like from one week to the next went from like 5,000 books to like almost like
200,000 or something now?
and then they did it again.
That's their way of appeasing the people that are tired of like the garbage. You know, I mean,
Well, they should have had it in there anyway,
Right.
But then, so the Shazam TV show from the 70s.
yeah, that's on there. Yeah,
So they put it in there, but they also upgraded it. They Blu-rayed the damn thing, and I'm thinking, why this shitty freaking kids TV show from 1975?
so you could see his feathered and bold haircut that much better.
You can see the two different actors that played Shazam or Captain Marvel.
Oh, were there two different actors?
Oh
in that?
yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those things that, like, now that I have it, like, you know, I'm not going to say for free, but I've paid for it, that I've looked at it and go, I should check a couple episodes of this out. And I'm like, no, it just doesn't.
I remember
good.
watching it as a kid, and it was bad.
Yeah.
And I liked it because I'm like, oh, that Billy Batson's really cool. And he was like 25, you know?
But to segue it back to what we were talking about, you know, DC and their mismanagement and everything else, but that's what makes Marvel in ways a lot better because they have a unified vision across all fronts.
Yeah, bad.
You know what I mean? Well, I mean, regardless of whether you think it's good or bad, you know that Kevin Feige is the head of Marvel Studios. And it's him there, and you know that. I mean, it was Brevoort at one point and Quesada who were in charge of the comics,
CB
right?
Cebulski, the guy that likes to pretend he's a Japanese girl.
Well, you got Alan Fine and Quesada that do the TV shows, I think.
Well, that's all. Quesada's long gone. Right now, CB Cebulski's the editor in chief. It was Axel Alonso for a long time.
Yeah, it was Alonso.
He quit. They brought Cebulski in, and so he's in charge of the comic. You know, he's the editor in chief.
Right.
And then you have
No, but Quesada's on the TV end now, isn't he? Like him and Alan Fine, or
I think Jeff Loeb.
Or is Jeff Loeb?
Yeah. Oh, but speaking of that, real quick, I wanted to bring that up.
you know what? Alan Fine and Quesada did Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Okay,
which was
cartoons,
awesome.
right?
Yeah.
Just because you brought this up, I wanted to bring up the fact because I know you're a fan, and I'm years behind, but I enjoy it. I don't know if you do. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. announced season 7 will be their last season.
Oh, they finally did.
So this year is 6. Next year will be their last year.
I love that show.
You know,
I'm still watching it.
I'm still on the Ghost Rider season, and I've fallen behind. But I'll tell you, I've never, except for the first, and I've said this to people a million times, the first 10 episodes of season 1 I wasn't crazy about. And everybody goes, well, you can't expect Thor or Iron Man. I go, no, dickhead, I don't expect Thor or Iron Man. Yeah. I expected a better story. But once you got into the Ward stuff and the turncoat thing, and then it picked up momentum where every season they did things a little bit differently. And let's be totally fucking honest, and this is a factor. Like any cast of any TV show out there, the chick hotness factor on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It's huge.
With Ming-Na Wen, your girlfriend, what's her name? Chloe, what's her name?
Chloe Wang.
Chloe Wang, or Chloe, what is it?
Chloe Bennett.
Chloe Bennett, and Elizabeth Henstridge. is enough to get any hetero guy to tune in every week.
You and I
Adrian
waited in
Palicki.
Rhode Island in a garage for hours. So,
well, a friend of ours was getting, Kingpin was
picture.
getting a picture of him with Ming Na Wen.
No, and then
We're stuck in a garage.
Adrian Palicki, when she came on,
Oh,
now she, of course, towers over everybody on that set,
Yeah.
which I think is hysterical because everyone's so short.
Yeah, so as we're recording this, San Diego Comic-Con is on day 1 or day 2. I think
whatever.
yesterday was
Yeah, I think
preview
it's
day or
2.
whatever.
No,
And they
it's
announced
a full day.
Is it a full day?
Thursday is a full day.
They announced that today that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on 7th season will be the final season. And you know what? That's a show that a lot of people never thought would make it to a 3rd season.
Right.
You know, like that show was not.
They've been talking about it for years.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is you know what honestly saved that show for a lot of years were the DVR numbers and the streaming numbers.
That saves a lot of shows,
as,
I think.
Yeah, as weird as it sounds, like segueing it back to the streaming side.
Yeah.
I
That's
remember,
what saved it.
I remember
the day plus 7, I think,
Yeah,
number is
day
what they
plus
look
5
at
or something,
yeah.
Yeah, the early days when Jericho was getting massive streaming numbers, and they weren't counting them because they didn't know how to.
That's how I watched Jericho. I think I didn't watch it because I saw the previews and went, that looks soap opera-y, which it was to an extent. And then me and Lindsay were watching TV one time years ago, and we watched the first episode, and I went, let's keep watching this. And I mean, we talk about it all the time. It's one of our favorite shows of the last 15 years. Did you ever see Jericho?
No.
I'm going to let you borrow the DVDs.
Okay.
I think you're going to dig it a lot.
I'll get around to it at some point.
It is a case. It is a case of fuck, this is over.
Yeah,
but it's a really
especially
good
after
show.
the first season.
I have a hard time finishing shows that I know are done.
It's kind of
really do.
It's kind of where I'm at, to circle back around to the DC thing, where I'm at with Swamp Thing, because two things. Okay, first of all, I think I've seen the first 4 episodes, and I think at this point they're on 7. I think there's going to be 10 total, because that was the other thing. He'd gotten the 13 order cut. That was the first thing, sign of trouble, and then they canceled it immediately, and they tried to blame it on tax cuts, which was kind of bullshit.
Oh man, there were so many different excuses.
There were so many excuses on that, but it's like I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it, but also the factor of knowing that it's going to lead to nothing is just kind of like, well, I can watch this whenever I want. Like Doom Patrol, I was like at that point invested in, where I wanted to get to the end because I want to be set up for next year, because at that point I'm still under the impression that's coming out again next year. But Swamp Thing is just like, it'll be there tomorrow, and then it'll never be there ever again. And it's sad, because here's the thing about the show. I'm a member on Facebook of a Swamp Thing community, the Parliament of Trees, and I feel bad because I think a lot of the fans on that are so excited to have Swamp Thing live action that they're lying to themselves that this is a really good show, because it's not.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's the Swamp Thing effects and the makeup are I think are impeccable. But
it's cast really well.
It's cast really well. Again, get to the female hotness factor. The girl who plays Abby Arcane is gorgeous.
She's great.
Crystal Reed. I don't know who she is, but she's gorgeous. Yeah. But it's basically a police procedural that Swamp Thing shows up in for 8 minutes every episode. Now, I don't want him to be in the whole episode either, because I understand that's the kind of character he can be. But it is literally a police procedural. It's got some, like you said, the cast. What's his name? He's in fucking Armageddon. Will Patton.
Will Patton, yeah.
He's in Armageddon. He was in The Postman. He's a great character actor. He plays the villain of the piece, and he's really good. And
he's good at being not so villainous.
He's a villain. He's a villain with a big smile on his face, and he's the face of the town, but he's a scumbag.
Oh yeah.
And Kevin Durand, who's a great character actor, plays Jason Woodrue, the Floronic Man. Well, I'm assuming where I'm at, he's not there yet. I don't know if he ever will he ever get there? Who knows?
I don't know. I've gotten up to either episode 5 or 6, and I forget which episode it is, but he's not even there yet. So
yeah, but to speak to Lou's point, it is. It's kind of like, it'll be there forever.
I would just wish that companies would cancel a TV show in the off season, finish your season up, even finish your series up, and then just tell me afterwards. Be like, oh yeah, that was the last episode. I'd be better with that than telling me a season and a half ahead of time that next season's the last one, because then my motivation to care about it is just completely gone.
If they
cancel the show, they kept
I have a hard time with that.
And then turning around and saying, no, it's not canceled. Was that Scrubs? They kept doing that too.
They've probably done it a few times. I mean, the comic I always think about with that was Spider Girl.
Oh yeah,
remember they kept canceling that fucking, and then they brought it back.
Nuts.
They canceled the MC2 Tom DeFalco written Spider Girl series from years ago.
MC2. How many titles were in that? 6 maybe.
5 maybe. Yeah. They kept canceling the book, and then every time they canceled the book, the fans would be like, which is funny because they're canceling the book because no one's buying it.
Yeah.
But then suddenly when the book gets canceled, all these people are like, no, we're gonna fucking buy it, and then it would get another life. I think it was 3 times that this thing got canceled and never ended. Because I think maybe once it went to number 1 again.
Did it really?
I think they did that the last time. Like, this is how we're going to get people in.
Okay.
A brand new jumping on point.
Because I thought the thing ran like 100 issues or something.
No, it was actually, we talked about this on the show once, maybe on the radio. The MC2 Spider-Girl is the longest running solo series featuring a female lead in comics, and it was over 100 issues.
No kidding.
Yeah, Mayday Parker. Yeah. It was an alternate universe daughter of Peter and I almost said Aunt May, and that would be fucking gross.
Wow,
that'd be really gross.
No, it's
Mary Jane,
Miss Grundy.
yeah, Miss Grundy. All right, John. What else do we have on the list of stuff?
Let's just keep going with DC and the cancellation of Mad Magazine.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Talk now. Just
soon
dovetailing,
soon to be in reprint only.
Yeah, dovetailing right off the Mayday Parker here is all the people coming out of the woodwork and going, save Mad Magazine. Like, you're not buying it now, and even if you bought it now, it's not going to save it.
It's the people that have okay, so I grew up reading Mad Magazine. That was a magazine that I got all the time.
Sure, me too.
You know, I didn't keep everyone, but I would have stack here, get rid of it, get new
covered
ones.
Fall off, and you kept it anyway.
Yeah, I kept it. I reread it and read it and reread it.
Beat the hell out of those things.
For me, Mad Magazine still has a lot of meaning, and I think it has a place in anybody's house. You know what I mean? Like, it's a humorous book, but I'm also not that douchebag because I don't read it anymore. Who's going to go out there on the internet and go, save Mad Magazine when I'm not doing anything about it?
Right.
But I think that's a lot of what people do is they go,
and
that was important in my childhood. I'm not important enough to buy every issue, but important enough to say, you know, let's let it go. And unfortunately, that doesn't translate to dollars, which is what they need to see.
I mean, I'd be pissed if highlights ever went away.
But you'd be pissed, you know.
I'd probably.
You'd be pissed.
Magazines are dying left and right.
Yeah. I mean, you know, here's the thing. We've talked about this before, probably just in passing, but like, you know, every once in a while when I go to Barnes & Noble, when on the way out, I'll go up to the magazine rack and look at it. Magazines are like $10 each.
Oh yeah.
Like,
it's the only way they're surviving.
It's and that, like, I can't read that because of that. Like, I will buy the occasional issue of like back issue, and that's like, I think like $7.99 or something.
Yeah.
But for me, that's like more than a magazine because that's
cover to cover.
That's
reading.
Cover to cover reading.
Right.
I used to, when I was younger, I used to have subscriptions to like Entertainment Weekly, which isn't weekly anymore. Yeah. So speaking of the death of magazines,
they don't even have comics in it anymore. They got rid of that. Yeah, the whole column of comics is gone.
Wow. Yeah. So Mad Magazine after what is that? 1950 or something like that? Mid 50s.
Started in the 50s and ran all the way up to what was it? About last year before they renumbered it.
They renumbered it. It is currently, I think, on number 8 or 7, and number 9 will be their new format, which is going to be still coming out with it. And this confuses me. Why don't you just end it?
I don't know.
You know, this is like saying like this is
We're
like
gonna run it to the end of the year and see what happens. Maybe it's like, oh, maybe people will start buying it again.
Yeah.
Like,
so what they're gonna do is now nobody's buying new material. Right. So now they're gonna take and they're gonna take it, and from issue 9 on, it's gonna be reprints. But have they even said like
whose reprints?
Is it going to be a classic reprint? Is it going to be a 1975 reprint?
Mad used to do reprints all the time. The summer specials were almost all reprint stuff. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, our good buddy Doug Paskevich of Arsenic Lullaby has written a number of articles about why Mad Magazine should have been canceled a long time ago because he worked for this magazine and he's got a lot to say about it.
I looked at the last time we were up at the BoomTube Comics there. I looked at the newest issue of Mad, and overall, it didn't. You know, the format is very much the same in terms of. But I mean, it wasn't my Mad Magazine.
It's a lot of political humor.
I'm sure it's fun. I mean, Lou, were you ever a fan, or you were a crack guy?
Yeah, we bought it. No, I used to buy Mad Magazine, or have my mother buy me Mad Magazine at the grocery store when I was a kid. You know what I mean? So I was a fan as much as as probably like an 8 or 9 year old could be. I enjoyed Spy vs. Spy. Yeah. You know, I enjoyed a lot of others like the folding cover, which you had told me, Sir John had told me the other day. It was the same guy doing it.
Yeah, even he's 98 years old.
98 years old. That's incredible. It's insane. And congratulations to you, sir.
Alan Jaffe. He's one of the guys trying to say. There's a picture of him out on the internet with him sign saying, save Mad Magazine, that sort of thing.
That's awesome. I mean,
I'm sure it's his last paying job. So
I mean, it's the death of the print industry in general.
Yeah.
I mean, it's indicative. I mean,
it's partly that, but it's also everything we talked about with Vertigo. It's just mismanagement and let's put it this way. So they go to restructure Mad. They left Mad in New York after DC was moved all the way out to Burbank, and anybody that wanted to go could go, and those that didn't. They finally decided as a company that Mad should join the rest of the publications and the rest of DC Entertainment, since DC had bought Mad out completely. I forget exactly when, sometime in the 90s, I think.
It's been, probably 20 years plus.
Pretty much nobody from the New York editorial office moved out. So they hired Bill Morrison, formerly of Bongo Comics, to run Mad Magazine for a month before they let him go.
Wow.
If you don't remember that one.
I remember them hiring him. I didn't remember that they let him go.
They booted him pretty much right away because it was that's when they started to make the cutbacks, and he was one of them. He was seen as extraneous.
A month after you're hired.
Well, I don't think it was a month after he was hired, but he got one issue of Mad out before they let him go. Yeah,
just typical mismanagement. It's all it is.
Because if anyone was going to run that magazine, that would have been him. So,
wow.
What they need is to just have somebody with just one vision, just leading everything, and just seems like there's so many people who are just called a manager with their hands in it that it's just a web.
Lou, two trivia questions for you. And I will not ask John because I know John knows this. Mad Magazine's basically mascot, the face of Mad Magazine name. Do you know his name?
You're going to put me on the spot, and I actually know his name, but like I'm blanking on it as we sit here.
Okay. It's
Alfred E. Newman.
Okay. No. And what's his famous catchphrase?
Oh, damn, I used to know this. What me worry?
Yeah, 2 points to Lou. All right. Does anybody know what the blonde guy in Cracked was? Remember Cracked had the blonde guy in like the painter's outfit?
Yeah, I did. Four Brush Man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he might have had a name other than that, but yeah, that's him.
2,700 points to Sir John.
I read very, very few Cracked, but
I used to read Cracked too. I read more Mad, but I used to read Cracked too.
I have a few, or had a few. I don't know. But
what was the one you said that? Like you said, there was the low rent one that like your mom. Crazy. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it was out there.
That was in CVS.
Yeah, that was the one that you got in the really cheap drugstores back then.
You can probably get it from what was it, Central News?
Central News. It was printed by Charlton Comics. The paper
little Johnny Johnson's dad would get his couple copies of Hustler with the black wrap on, and he'd get him an issue of Crazy at the newsstand.
No, his dad was picking up the latest copy of Clan magazine.
My dad was afraid of naked women, so he would get what was the motorcycle? Hot Cycle or something like that. I forget.
I don't know.
There was Hot Rod. There was Hot Rod. There was Cycle magazine. He had a subscription to that, but even
Dad was afraid of naked.
He was.
That's a good one.
National
I think we have a title.
He'd cut out the women that were naked, so you didn't have to look at them.
He'd cut out the women with like the long, hangy boobies.
Juxtapose that with me. The Vanna White issue of Playboy. That was the first Playboy I ever saw.
You were snapping it off left and right.
Oh, my word. Yeah, I mean...
Your poor penis.
Wow. I didn't even know she was in it.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
In the day.
I do remember that.
Way back in the day.
Way back in the day.
Yeah. I remember Barbie Benton.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Vanna White back in the day.
The Vanna White issue of Playboy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember that one.
I do remember her being in it. I don't remember the issue particularly, but...
my formative years. that and that one scene in Predator 2 where they zoom in and they're
Yeah. Predator 2. I think I snapped it off to that a few times as well.
just keep rewinding.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Just pause it right there.
Yeah.
I never did it to Terminator. But I always was concerned in Terminator when Linda Hamilton is like fucking pumping on Michael Biehn because they're holding hands because it's supposed to be indicative that they're in love because they're making a baby.
Yeah.
But like she's riding him and then his hands like go limp and I'm like, did she fucking fuck this dude to death? That's a good segue. Let's talk about that real quick.
Let's do it.
So San Diego Comic-Con, they had some more footage from Terminator. And we're gonna go with this is again one of the more fucking generic titles out there. Dark Fate. Terminator: Dark Fate is coming out in November. This is produced by James Cameron. The first time he's been involved with a Terminator movie since 2, which obviously was the Judgment Day. This, even though there's been 3 Terminator movies since then, the awesome Terminator 3, which should never ever be taken out of canon.
Completely agree.
Terminator Salvation, which was the start of a new trilogy that didn't go anywhere because it was garbage. Terminator Genesis, which has two things going for it.
I never saw Genesis.
Was the start of a second trilogy that never went anywhere. and is the movie that if you need to knock Sir John out, apparently you show it to him. So
that's my what was it?
It's your
Nitol will get.
It's your Nitol. It's almost like
Genesis was the one with Amelia Clarke, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No, I never saw that one.
Is that who played?
She was Sarah
Daenerys
Connor.
Targaryen. Yeah.
Right. She played. Yeah, she was on Game of Thrones. Yeah.
No, she was Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor. Yeah. Yeah. And I think Jai Courtney is in that, right?
She was bad.
Jai Courtney is in that, right? The Suicide Squad Boomerang, Captain Boomerang is, I think, Kyle Reese in that.
Oh, that's why he looked familiar.
Yeah.
All right.
I've never seen it. It looks
got
like
to see his naked bum a few times.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
So Terminator Dark Fate, it seems like in this one here, we have a very androgynous woman who plays, I guess, like maybe a good Terminator. Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I saw the original trailer. I haven't seen anything recent.
The bad Terminator is the guy who played Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Gabriel Luna, I think is his name.
Really?
Yeah, and this is directed by the guy who did the first Deadpool movie. I think his name is Tim Miller. So I got to ask you, because this is one of those franchises that, like the Alien, like think of something you love, a franchise you love, like I love Alien, and they just keep beating this thing to death. Do either one of you have any excitement about
I wouldn't know anything
Terminator?
about that Star Wars.
Yeah, well, exactly. Do either one of you have any excitement at all about a new Terminator movie in 2019? Oh, and let's bring it up too, that Linda Hamilton, not only is James Cameron back producing it, so you got Arnold Schwarzenegger playing an older version of a Terminator, which is confusing because he did that in the last one too.
Old man Terminator.
You have Linda Hamilton back as Sarah Connor, and they just announced that Edward Furlong, who apparently has not died of a drug overdose, as I thought, that he'd been dead for years.
I thought he was in prison for life. So
yeah. So he's back as John Connor as an adult. And this is, they're saying, the direct sequel to Terminator 2.
Which pisses me off.
And it pisses me off too. Are either of you in any way, shape, or form interested in seeing this
Not
movie?
in the slightest.
Yeah, me neither.
No.
I wasn't interested in any of the others. I mean, Terminator 3 ended the story pretty successfully.
After 3, it was fantastic. I agree. 3 ended it. It was perfect.
There was no reason to go back.
I pose this question to you because I love Terminator. We are rare right here.
Yeah, we're the only ones that like Terminator 3.
Right, because we've had discussions before. There was something else that the three, I can't remember what it was. There was something else. Maybe it was me, you, and Lloyd were the three people that liked. We're in a room right now of Terminator 3 lovers. Why do people fucking hate Terminator 3?
I don't know.
Because it ends on a down note.
People hate it all the way through. Like they just are like, that movie's garbage.
I mean, like I said, most people don't like downer endings.
I loved it. It was,
so did I.
exactly how it's supposed to end.
Exactly, perfect.
Maybe that's I don't know.
Do you think
were they
it's a
expecting
case,
Linda Hamilton? She didn't want to come back.
Exactly. Do you think it's a case of
what did they do to get her back for this movie?
She's at this point she's like 65 and probably, in all honesty, probably it's a paycheck.
Yeah, needs money.
You know, I mean,
so would have been Terminator 3. Not that she.
Yeah, but she was 45 then, and she was still maybe doing something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. The thing
they don't like Claire Danes. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, that's right. She was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was actually pretty good in that.
Yeah,
actually, the dude who played, he's another one. Like that role is cursed. Now that I think about it.
Oh, he's
Nick Stahl.
Nick Stahl is living on the streets somewhere.
Yeah, I think he was. I think at one point I remember reading like. He was married and divorced, and he was missing for a while. Like his ex-wife, like put out like, he is gone.
No, he's literally living on the streets. Apparently, he's like strung out.
That's too bad because he was really good in the few things I've seen him in. He was in. I didn't see the whole thing, but he was on that HBO show Carnival. He was like the main character, and he was good in it. And he was a good John Connor.
Yeah, it was a good John Connor. What I really liked about that movie, and part of it was. Schwarzenegger put a lot of his own money into this movie because he
paid for the whole crane chase scene.
That crane chase scene.
They didn't want to do it, and he said, "I'll put the money up."
Yeah, and it's fantastic. It's something that you didn't get to see in the first movie because they didn't have the money.
Right.
The second movie's focused more on the new Terminator.
Right.
So it's all about the liquid metal and all that. You don't really get a good sense of how heavy the Terminators are until the third movie.
Oh, when they're fighting and it's just da-dunk,
when they're fighting, when he gets thrown around, he's destroying, like he's hanging off the crane and just wrecking buildings as he's going by because of the weight of hitting a car. The car flips out of the way.
Yeah,
it's just awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's heavy duty mayhem.
And Christiana Loken was awesome.
Yeah, she was great.
The TX.
I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to say
that's when I slapped it on the ass.
She just carried that role of just like a single-minded killer. You know what I mean? With just a purpose.
What, you have like 3 lines in the whole movie?
Yeah, but I mean, she
inflates her titties.
Intimidating.
Remember, she inflates her titties.
Yeah, that was great.
The cop pulls her over and she makes her breasts larger, and he lets her go. I'm going to say I think what happened in that movie was that movie. So Terminator 2 is 1991. One of the biggest hits of all time.
That was
like
huge.
And that one was like 2002. And maybe it was just that gap in time.
Maybe.
And the fact that Terminator 2 really was like, you tell me you meet someone that like goes, I hated Terminator 2. It doesn't happen. That was a fucking well done movie.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that you can actually make the case for the sequel being better than the original.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love Terminator 1 and I understand what makes them different, but like he went in a different direction with 2. And yeah, he made what could be a better movie.
Oh, it's like Aliens and Alien.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just. But yeah, I mean, the time gap, maybe.
It's probably the fact that Cameron wasn't involved with the third one. People are like, he's not part of it.
Yeah.
Well, it could be the prequels for Star Wars. So.
All right, John, what's next on your list of topics?
Let's see what we got here. We can skip over that. Oh, let's talk about The Walking Dead.
Okay. The comic book.
Yeah. My favorite thing to happen over the last few weeks.
So Robert Kirkman.
Walking Dead, regular monthly comic book series, has been going on for the last
2003.
Well, oh God, almost 20 years now.
17. What was that? 16 years.
16 years. That's fucking crazy. But anyway, suddenly decides to cancel the series. Surprise! After soliciting for further issues.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, like, yeah, okay, I suppose, yeah, in the straight up term soliciting, but we don't know if that plan was ever actually in place. I mean,
we don't know anything other than
they
canceled
did physically
the book.
Put them in solicitations, but yeah, we don't know if those mock-up covers that they had in the previews were actually books that were meant to be there.
Doesn't matter.
Weren't. Yeah. They weren't.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he did that.
He
did that
fuck you to everyone ordering it. And
that's what I'm saying. They're mocked-up covers.
They're mocked-up covers that he did. He knew.
Okay, let me rephrase. What I'm getting at is we don't know what, because even you had said, he always said in the letters column that he had plans for post Rick, and
he
the
said
book
that he was going to go on
him.
until issue 700.
Exactly.
It was going to keep going.
But like I said, nobody really knows what was in his head, and whether or not, like I said, yes, they did physically put mock-up covers in. They did physically put mock-up covers in the previews, but we're not entitled. Nobody really knows if his intention was 193 done or when that came about.
No, that was his intention. His intention was obviously before it happened. He knew 193 was going to be the end. And I'm sure he told Charlie Adler, and he might have told like his Skybound staffers, this is going to be the last issue. He told Diamond something else, and he had them make up a couple of false solicitations. It was a surprise for everybody out here, Diamond didn't
especially
know.
the retailers.
Well, yeah. I mean, nobody knows when that decision was made. That's the point I was trying to make.
No, he might have made the decision 3 years ago.
Exactly.
He might. Yeah, that's not the point that makes that. That's not the point that pisses people off. You could decide 3 years ago, okay, I'm doing this, but to literally wake up one day and just find out that this book and it did affect retailers for a couple of reasons. Number one, like we talked to Dan at BoomTube and other comic book store owners. They had some customers that only bought The Walking Dead.
Right.
So now this is someone who walks through your door every week that maybe you might get like an extra sale out of, or you could move them onto another book, and now you're scrambling. And you've got to explain to them that,
by the way, got canceled.
This got canceled. This is the last issue.
Yeah.
And
sorry that no one knew.
and John pointed it out with the solicitations, which I never thought about, was that these comic shop owners who are in a dying industry, who can't fuck around with money, have now looked ahead and ordered, okay, I've got 40 customers that order The Walking Dead number blah. I'm going to order 40 of these. Now that money is never going towards Diamond, but it could have gone towards something else.
Some other book.
Anything else is now was for 2 months was now not ordered because the orders went, now granted, they're going to keep their money and that's all well and good.
Yeah, it's not spent money.
It's not spent money, but
it's not spent on anything else.
Right. They could have ordered an extra 5 issues of that Batman title that's hot right now that they could definitely sell off the shelf.
Right.
And no, they set it aside to buy a book that is,
not there.
Yeah. I've always liked Robert Kirkman. I have I've always liked The Walking Dead. But it was a dick move. And Diamond didn't even know until Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday, the day before comic books come out, is when apparently they contacted Diamond and said,
It's almost a breach of contract.
Is there any indication as to why he did it this way?
I haven't read anything, but I haven't really looked either.
I think, and again, this is I think, because I'm like John, I think he gets off on doing these things, because he's done it before with, he did it with Die, Die, Die. Die, 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 one of his newer books. The first issue was never solicited. I don't know. I'd have to ask.
Oh yeah, didn't Dan say it was done by email?
It was done by email, like immedately before,
right? Like the day before, or something.
Before, and then there was the other one with weird. Oblivion Song. Was he sent retailers out the full first trade to read and then order based on that. So he's done things differently. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing things differently in the comic industry, but I don't necessarily say he did them right. And the move with The Walking Dead was dicky. You know, not for someone like me. I love The Walking Dead. I still read it. I have every issue. I'm glad. I have no problem with being over. But like literally, I could see where like, okay, well, I'm never going to a comic book store again. No reason for me to do that. And now it's like, well, the comic book store owner has no chance of moving you onto something else. You know, it just, I don't know. It seems like for sensationalism's sake, you know,
poorly done.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you want sensationalism, you would think that announcing an official end of the book and having like an event and a build-up and all that,
that's
and hype and everything else would have been far greater than just saying book's over, because now everyone, it goes for a day or two, and then for lack of a better, hey,
let's be honest, we're talking about it like 3 weeks later, so people are still talking about this. I mean,
people are still looking for the issue.
You could have had a year. You could have said, I'm ending the book at, I'm ending the book at 200. Okay, and that would have been 7 more months.
Yeah. Massive build-up.
And it would have been a massive build-up. How's it going to end? What's going to happen? Blah, 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 blah.
And to give him credit, he did that with Invincible. He announced Invincible's end 2 years before it ended.
3 weeks for 7 months.
The difference here is that Invincible sold
half
or less than half of what the Walking Dead numbers are, and it has nowhere near the IP.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Walking Dead is just massive. He's still got the 2 TV shows going for as long as they go.
And I think I could be totally wrong about this, but did I hear that they're possibly thinking about doing another TV show?
I heard that, yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah, this is, I'm not going to even talk about it, but you heard what I heard, is that they were saying there might be one more spinoff of this fucking show that like I gave up on after season 4, and I've never even watched it. I've actually had a lot of people say that Fear is now much better than the original Walking Dead.
I've heard that, but
it doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
But like a third, come the fuck on.
Why not? Milk it out.
Yeah. Well, hey, if there's one thing you could say in the era of that we're in of comic book creators, there's only really like Kirkman is the money guy. I mean,
right now
this guy went to Image.
Yeah. Where's Thief of Thieves?
It's over.
No. The TV show.
Oh yeah. What does he care?
I mean, let's be honest.
He doesn't need any more money.
Let's be honest. The 3 of us are sitting here podcasting, and he's chilling on a yacht in San Diego right now. So he's doing something right.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I'm giving him credit. I'm like, this guy obviously.
Just remember this too: is when The Walking Dead first came out, no one thought it would succeed. No one.
Oh no!
It was a black and white zombie book when nobody was reading black and white books or zombie books.
Yeah, zombies. Yeah, it definitely helped with the resurgence of the zombie genre. It's one of the things. There was a couple movies and stuff too, but
I think the book itself, the comic itself, really kind of took off.
Yeah,
just because of the fact that people were into the zombie genre. So
yeah,
it was interesting.
It's a right place, right time thing.
Yeah. Hey, good for him, man. Dude's a fucking millionaire.
Dude's rolling in money.
Dude's a millionaire. All right, John, what else we got? What else we talking about?
What else we got here? Let's see.
I got one real quick. Let me throw one out there real quick.
Go.
This is more San Diego Comic-Con news. I got this. Last year, Batman, the animated series, debuted on Blu-ray. They did a full set. It came out like around October of last year. Well, this year, on October 29th, which is my birthday, so hint, Batman Beyond.
They're doing. I just got shown that
they're doing Batman Beyond, the complete series. It's got $100 manufacturer retail suggested price. It is 52 episodes on a 4-disc set for the 52 episodes, 2 bonus discs, and it comes with Return of the Joker on Blu-ray, the movie that they did. It comes with a chrome pop vinyl of Batman Beyond and some lenticular art cards. And this is the interesting part, I thought, of the whole story, because in all honesty, Batman Beyond was okay. I'm not that psyched about it, but out of the 52 episodes, 11 episodes were so badly damaged by time that they couldn't transfer them to Bluray. Really? So 11 episodes are being the terminology was up-resed. They're going to up-res them from the original files, which is just basically mean they're going to clean them up as best they can, but they will not be Blu-ray quality. And I thought that was crazy because they had, it makes you wonder what they did, because Batman the Animated Series, the Blu-ray, was fine, and 11 out of 52 episodes of Batman Beyond.
This sounds like a question for our buddy at Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah, we might want to ask him.
Yeah.
But this is not on film, I would assume. I don't know, but they said 11
digital, yeah.
11 episodes were so badly, and
Degraded,
it said particularly damaged by time. So maybe they weren't stored correctly or whatever. But so 11 of the episodes, I'm curious when it does come out to see the difference.
It's unusual for Warner's product to be damaged like that.
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
something recent.
Yeah, the Warner archives are unbelievable, and whenever they do a set, 11 out of 52 episodes are going to be
maybe like a mouse. Maybe like a mouse got in, and like made like a nest.
Maybe
That's what it was. It's very possible. It's sitting in a warehouse.
Somebody took a piss in the corner and
didn't
didn't realize it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Oh, Batman Beyond's there. That's okay.
Shit, I just pissed on season 2 of Batman Beyond.
Yeah, no one liked it anyway.
Nobody's going to care.
maybe they put the Ark of the Covenant next to it.
There you go.
When they put it in.
All right, John. That was my little bit of a little bit more San Diego Comic-Con news.
That's fine. I was never a big fan of that show, so I had some issues.
I enjoyed bits of it, but yeah, I don't know. The Blu-ray, I was psyched when the Blu-ray of Animated Series came out. This one's just kind of like, whatever. Yeah. I have the DVDs, and I don't think I've even watched all those. So,
so there's a new cast member for the new James Bond movie that's coming out.
I've been hearing about this, and I have an opinion, and I'll give you my opinion. But go ahead, tell everybody.
I have an opinion too, and I said it on the radio a couple of nights ago. So I forget the actress's name now, but she played
Monica Rambeau. No, she played
the mother of Monica Rambeau.
Mother of Monica Rambeau
in the Captain Marvel. Yeah, actress is really good. We all liked her from the movie.
Yeah, she was better than
she was the highlight of the movie.
What did you call Brie Larson? One of my favorite
plank of wood.
That plank of wood, Brie Larson.
I still don't think she was that bad. But anyway, regardless of Brie Larson's acting or lack of acting ability, this woman, we should probably look it up and figure out what her name is, but I should have had that.
Yeah, that's all right. Lou will look it up.
She has been cast as the replacement 007 in the new James Bond movie.
See, I like that you said that way.
Because James Bond was the replacement of the previous 007.
Correct. Everybody, what's her name, Lou?
Lashana Lynch.
Lashana Lynch. Everybody, okay, I don't want to say up in arms, but you get all these people.
Yeah, they get bent out of shape.
Bent out of shape for two reasons. You get the dickheads that are bent out of shape because, James Bond's a black woman now. No.
And that's not true.
That's not true. And then you get bent out of shape because, 007's a black woman now. Here's the thing. This movie's going to start with her as 007.
And I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm looking forward to it too, because you know what? Cool.
Yep.
And maybe for the first 20 minutes, she'll be 007. And James Bond will be retired.
Because he is.
And he is. And 007, Lashana Lynch 007, will get killed.
I don't think so.
Yeah, see, I think she's going to get killed.
I don't think so.
Really? And
yeah, because if you're retired, you're not going to come back as 007. You're going to come back as 006, 005. Do you read any of the books?
No.
You don't keep the 007 moniker the whole time.
Oh, see, I assumed if you came back into the fold, they'd give you back your old number if the previous one was not there any longer.
Not necessarily.
I mean, it's kind of like a jersey on a sports team.
Yeah.
Kind of got to give it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, okay, I'll be honest. Not that I have no problem with her being 007.
Me either.
I would be kind of weirded out if James Bond came back and was like 003.
I wouldn't mind.
I guess it would be kind of cool for one movie. Like, it would be a trivia thing. Hey, what movie was James Bond 003 in? I have more of an issue thinking of that than thinking about like a black woman as 007.
I honestly think, because this is going to be what's-his-face's last Bond movie.
Yeah, Craig's last Bond, Daniel Craig, yeah.
If they keep him alive as a character at the end of the film, big surprise if they kill him too.
Yeah.
He's not going to be back in the fold. He's just going to be James Bond.
Okay, you think it's going to be like almost like like a License to Kill? If you remember that one, Timothy Dalton, where he was out of the service.
Yeah.
He was just working on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be okay if he came in and suddenly became M. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But
I'll even be more okay if this movie's better than Spectre, because that movie really wasn't that good.
They've been laying out the people that are going to be in this movie too, and I'm like, oh, they're going to overload it.
Yeah, Rami Malek is the villain, and I like him, but
and Christoph Waltz is coming back too.
I read that, and I really did not like what they did with that character in terms of making them like stepbrothers or whatever.
Yeah, it was not
that we've talked about that before, where it seems like in fiction nowadays everybody's like villain has to have a tie to them in the past. Like, no, they don't. They're just, he's a bad dude.
Well, they're going for, people want depth in their villains now. They want that.
Depth is fine, but you can have him have him have a deep origin that doesn't have to do with James Bond.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah,
or just be Blofeld like the old movies where you don't find out until much later.
Right.
You know? It could have been a lot more fun. But again, as I said on the radio, 007, it's just a number, folks. Just suck it up, man.
Yeah. Lou, do you know what the 00 stands for in the 7?
I don't.
License to Kill. The 00 is the meaning or the nomenclature for License to Kill.
Well, see, I learned something.
If you have a 00 in your title, you have a License to Kill.
Means there are very few of you.
Yes.
Hence the 7.
Because really, I mean, do they go up, like, is it to 9?
If you remember in one of the films, and I forget which one it is, you do actually meet 009.
Yeah, because I know
it's an early one too.
I know in GoldenEye, Sean Bean, who dies at the end of that, which is not a surprise, plays 006.
Yeah.
And I've never, and I think we've seen 3 maybe here and there.
Yeah, there's not very many that you meet throughout the film series, but you do meet some of them.
Yeah.
So, what I found was really funny is that I read a comic called Jimmy's Bastards, if you remember me talking about that.
Is that Garth Ennis?
Garth Ennis, and Russell Braun drawing it, and it's a twisted take on the Bond hero. So Jimmy, I don't know if you ever find out his last name, I forget. But Jimmy is the hero, and it's all about his children from out of wedlock coming back to hunt him down and kill him for basically abandoning their mothers.
I mean, really.
And there's hundreds of them.
If you went into the lore of James Bond just in the movies.
With how many times he slept with people.
He's got to have, I mean, the Daniel, maybe the Pierce Brosnan ones, he's sleeping with 3 women in a movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, Jesus Christ, man.
They're overcompensating for the Timothy Dalton movies where he had condoms.
Yeah, he had condoms, right? Yeah. Timothy Dalton, man, he only had 2 movies.
He was a responsible Bond.
Yeah, he was.
He kind of got pissed on. They
He
clearly wanted Pierce Brosnan in that role, and Pierce Brosnan couldn't take the role in the 80s because of Remington Steele. They gave it to Dalton. The Dalton movies didn't do great. They had that like 6 or 7 year gap. They brought Brosnan in again, and he had, Brosnan did 4 movies, and they were successful. They weren't all good. They were successful. But
one of them was really successful.
One of them was awesome. The other 3 were terrible.
I like GoldenEye a lot.
Regardless
GoldenEye.
of how bad they might have been, they did make money, and I know one did really, really well. I know that much. But
probably the last one, maybe GoldenEye did really well. GoldenEye was great. The one with Michelle Yeoh was okay. The one with Christmas Comes Twice, Denise Richards, was not very good. But the worst of them was that fucking Die Another Day, where he had the invisible. I mean, they literally got to the point where they needed to do that reboot with Casino Royale to just get to scrub away like the fucking like the remnants of the invisible car and all that. Like remember it was like. The bad guy in that movie was a white dude who was actually a Korean guy who had his face changed like Nicolas Cage face. Oh, what a fucking dumb movie.
Well, my point was, in Jimmy's Bastards, he has a black female partner who is smarter than him and better than him, and he's like Bond good.
Right.
So it's just kind of funny that that's where they're going with this film too. So
yeah, I look forward to seeing it, and I hope that they do something like you said, like. Where she's 007 the whole movie.
That'd be great.
And he is just like kind of like Rogue. You know what I mean? He's doing he's there, but he's not a 00.
Right.
Or he comes back and they're like, you can't have 007, motherfucker. You left.
Yeah, because what's his name? Tanner. I forget the actor's name. He was in Penny Dreadful.
Oh, the guy who played Frankenstein. Yeah. Rory, what was his name? He's the
Rory Williams or whatever.
Rory
something or other.
Anyway, he's coming back, so you're going to have all these connections to the earlier films too. So
yeah, as a matter of fact, too, I have to go back and watch it, but I think it was Quantum of Solace. I was watching a thing with David Harbour.
Rory Kinnear.
Kinnear, that's
Rory
right.
Kinnear.
Because he's Roy Kinnear's son.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that I think on an early episode. David Harbour was apparently one of the suits in Quantum of Solace, which I haven't seen in years.
One of the suits.
He was like one of like the 8, like maybe like one of the CIA agents that might have been in the movie as well.
Okay. All right.
And I don't know, he might have had a really small part, but he was talking about his roles, and he said that was
Wait
Quantum
a
of Solace.
minute. He wasn't the guy with what's his name? The other guy, the CIA agent, the one that was in 2 movies.
Felix Leiter?
Felix, yeah. On the plane with
Maybe,
Felix,
maybe.
the guy that was laughing all the time
It might have been him,
because
yeah.
he was making the deal with this green group and all. Oh my god! Now I got to go back and look at it.
I've been thinking about rewatching those. It's been a while
Quantum of
since I've seen
Solace
those.
isn't terrible, but it's not great.
I like it.
I enjoy the
Casino Royale's much better.
oh yeah,
It's the same. They're one movie.
yeah, they really
They're
are.
one movie.
So Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, the first half is really great. The second half's okay. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. Yes, they're named differently, but I mean, it's just a straight up revenge flick. That's all it is.
I do love the end of Quantum of
I
Solace.
mean, just
where
don't
he
think
gives-
of it. I mean, like, yes, it's a Bond film, but don't think of it like a Bond film. It's just him seeking revenge. Starts out with and just goes. It's
I like
one-
when he gives the bad guy the quart of oil.
yeah.
He's like, you'll get thirsty enough, you'll drink that.
that.
And they tell Bond, they're like, he had an entire bottle of 5W30 in his stomach. And he's
Yeah.
like, I don't know anything of that.
I still like the boat chase scene. It's preposterous, but I love watching it.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
it started. I mean, the movie starts like 10 or 15 minutes after the end of Casino Royale.
Yeah,
pretty
he's
much,
chasing
yeah.
the guy
he's
on the
chasing him
highway.
in the
yeah.
highway. Yeah.
Whatever the fuck his name is there.
Yeah.
Because he's in the trunk.
Mr. White.
Mr. White's in the
Mr.
trunk.
White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost said Le Chiffre, but that was
that was the band.
Mads
Yeah.
Mikkelsen in the first one.
Le Chiffre
Still,
with his bleeding eye.
still one of the all-time most cringeworthy
the
torture scenes I've ever seen. I went and saw it in the theaters, and I still can't believe that a Bond movie has made me cringe harder than half the horror movies I've ever seen. When they're beating his balls in with that fucking rope anchor rope knot, and like
Yeah.
that, and like the next scene after they rescue him, he's in a fucking wheelchair.
Yeah.
Like, my God, they fucking flayed James Bond's balls in that movie.
Yeah, they did.
Hardcore. Real quick.
Tickling my balls.
Real quick, I don't know if you ended up seeing it or not, but I know Lewis said he's watched it 9,000 times. I know you're a
Yeah.
big fan, so I was going to bring this up. Top Gun Maverick.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, I freely will admit that as a kid, I enjoyed Top Gun, but it's not one that I hold on to. Right. If I see it, if it's on, I'll watch bits of it. It's still a good movie, but it's just not one that like really. But you love it.
I love Top Gun.
So here we are, 86, 33 years
Yeah,
later.
33 years later.
Did you get to see the trailer or no?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Come on.
I have no interest at all. I would rather go watch Midsommar again.
Well, and I wanted to ask you about that. I want to review spoiler free of that because I want to see that.
See, I think it just hit a 7-year-old me, that movie, because that's, I was 7 in
yeah.
86. And
Steel
it just,
Dawn. Let's watch
and
that
it
again.
just no, but I mean, like, I'm just saying, it just hit me and it made me want to be a fighter pilot. Then I got fat.
Top secret.
And I realized that wasn't a possibility. And I fell in love with fighter jets because of that movie.
Okay, so
and I love it. I'll watch it every time it's on. It's the
You-
first DVD I ever owned, actually.
You watched the trailer for this movie. I have one question and one question only. Now, we all know that Tom Cruise does everything. He does his own stunts. If he does
you
a
think
movie,
he's flying the plane?
is he flying that fucking
I have no
plane?
idea.
The way that
don't-
the way that
It looks so good.
Can't help you.
The way that the jet scenes are filmed from
Yeah.
inside the cockpit and what we know about Tom Cruise, I feel like he's flying that
He
fucking
might
jet.
be. I don't know. We'll find out.
All right, so and we got Ed Harris in it. We got a good. It looks like John Hamm is in it.
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller
looks like he's playing Goose's kid.
Yeah, and there's a funeral scene that makes me think that might be Iceman because they said that Val Kilmer's in it. He's not in the trailer, and we know he's obviously he can't talk right now, recovering from cancer. So I don't know. And the idea behind the movie is that it's 30 years later, and Maverick is getting like a dressing down from Ed Harris, who plays like
Because he's still a captain.
he's still a captain, and he's
He
never
hasn't-
he's
never
never taken a
progressed.
promotion. He's basically the same.
But the
guy.
other thing, did you notice in the trailer, did you notice the suit he's wearing at one point? Like, it has like a pressure lock on its neck, and it's got a full face. There's a full face shield, like they're testing something.
There was
or-
one scene that I thought he's like a test pilot.
the scene
Hal
where
Jordan.
the scene
ring.
where he's getting dressed down by Ed Harris. If you look at his neck, he's got that pressure lock on it.
Oh, okay.
So, and then there's one scene where he's in.
It's
his
Top
head.
Gun Maverick cyborg.
Well, and then the one scene where he's in a cockpit that you don't see the rest of the plane, but he has like a different helmet on with the full
Yeah.
face shield.
Yeah.
But I mean, that first trailer was just playing off nostalgia. I mean, that's exactly its point. And it worked on me.
The trailer of this movie. The trailer of this movie is so fan servicey because
the helmet, the jacket, the glasses.
Not even that.
The 1-for-1 shot with him on the motorcycle and the jet taking off.
He's racing the motorcycle and the jet, which you got to give him credit.
The volleyball scene.
Football. They changed it to football.
Was it football?
He's spinning a football.
Oh, I didn't notice.
They're singing.
I just took it as volleyball.
They're singing in a bar.
Yeah, singing in a bar. Goose's kid's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming Goose's kid.
I'll go with you to see this.
I'm there.
So I just wanted to bring that up. And
then they have that really awesome wide shot of the aircraft carriers. They're like circling around it and it goes bong like it does. And they have the aircraft on the elevator coming up. That was awesome.
I like the stat. What was the stat they gave him?
I don't care. I love Top Gun. I'll fully admit it.
No, yeah. I knew you'd be excited. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I knew you'd be super excited about it. And then I don't think John got to see it, but I told you, did you watch the Cats trailer?
I did view it.
That was fucking weird.
It was. I mean, I have to honestly admit, I know nothing about Cats. The
don't
cast
either.
looks impressive.
It's an impressive cast, but
I saw pictures. That's enough.
It looks weird.
Yeah, it looks creepy.
Those cat suits are a bit odd.
I can't tell if they're actually
I want Billy Johnstone's opinion.
I'm going to ask him next time I see him. But I want to know, do you think that they were in suits or was that mostly CGI?
I don't know.
Because you had James Corden, Judi Dench, Idris Elba,
Rebel Wilson,
Taylor Swift,
Jennifer Hudson.
They had a pretty decent cast in that thing. But as I'm watching, I just thought, how ridiculous did they feel when they were filming this? Because the suits are so fucking bizarre.
Like, I'm not entirely sure if they are. Like you said, I mean, I watched it. I'm still not sure if they're suits.
I couldn't tell if it was that kind of thing where maybe they're just wearing makeup on their face and they're in maybe skin tight leotards and all the fur and everything is on there. But I
got to be 100% honest with you. I don't know if I'd ever be in a position in my life where I'd be okay wearing a skin tight leotard.
I'm going to be honest with you and say that I wouldn't be in a position where I wouldn't want to be around you in a skin tight leotard.
Well, no, but I mean, that's good on James Corden, man. You know, he's not a small guy.
Good on Rebel Wilson.
Good on Rebel Wilson. Yeah,
she's a beautiful woman, but she's not. She doesn't fit the body type that we.
I don't think I'd ever have that kind of confidence in myself. Be like, hey, you know what? I'm an actor, and hey, Lou, we want you to be in Cats. Here's a skin tight leotard.
You know what though? I'm gonna say, Lou, that the possibility of them saying we'll give you like $4 million to do this might tip the scales.
I mean, if
they
said we want you to be in Cats, here's a skin tight leotard. My next question is, can I get 8 or 9 months to get a Momoa body?
Yeah,
something. Don't worry, they'll tape your nipples down.
Yeah. I mean, that's my can I get a personal trainer?
We'll get your nipples taped down.
Hey, because anything ever freaks you out about that kind of stuff, just watch the aborted Justice League television pilot with David Ogden Stiers as the Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's just weird.
And they painted his chest.
Yeah, David Ogden Stiers from MASH, who at that point was probably in his 50s and not in shape.
Probably older than that.
is Martian Manhunter wearing, the Martian Manhunter, they could have redid his
classic. Yeah, they
could have just said, you're not in shape for this. We're gonna classic. He's wearing the bandolier style X with nothing on him. He's gutted out.
Oh, wow.
There is a side shot where the two X's are going over his chest and you could see the gap between his stomach and the X.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, I would. That would be that. Honestly, God, that would be that would be the sequence of events. We want you to kind of like what they did with Chris Pratt when they wanted him to be Star-Lord. It's we really want you to do this role, but you're too fat. So here's a personal trainer in about 8 months. Get yourself going. Because that would be me.
It worked for him.
It did.
It worked for him. He's now a Schwarzenegger. So
yeah,
really.
He's married to.
He's now in that Kennedy clan.
Yeah, he's in the Kennedy clan now. All right, John, real quick, because I'm curious about this, but no spoiler, because I've been wanting to go see this movie for weeks. You went and saw Midsommar.
I did.
Now we know from last year's 2018 Top Show, you loved the director's last movie, Hereditary, his first major motion picture, which was a kind of strange horror-y type thing. Without spoilers, what is going on in Midsommar? Is it scary? Is it gory? What would you say? Did you enjoy it? And what is this thing all about?
Let's put it this way. So Brian and I went to see it the 5th of July. So we were both suffering the after effects of the 4th.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Drinking.
Hashtag sarcasm.
But we went to go see it, and we were front row.
Oh, man.
So we're laying back in those recliners and watching this giant screen. So it's definitely an Ari Aster film.
It's a deal breaker for me.
So it's It's very slow paced. It's got more gore in it than Hereditary had, and I mean gore. It's not as hidden a story that Hereditary might have had.
Right.
I mean, some people saw right through it. I didn't. I followed all the way to the end, and I was puzzling it out as I went, and I enjoyed where it went. This one is in your face. It's pretty obvious what's going on, and there's a lot of drugs going on as well. Basically, it's a very damaged woman and her boyfriend and his classmates follow a friend of theirs who's Swedish back to Sweden to watch their Midsommar. It's a thing that they do every 90 years for Midsommar in his area,
like
his
a
town.
ritual.
Yeah, kind of. It's a series of things that they do. It's their Midsommar celebration, but it only happens every 90 years. So they all go to watch it, and there's a story about how they're writing about it and that kind of thing. So you're learning about what they're doing as it happens, and some of it's pretty horrific, and no one actually freaks out. A lot of drugs are being taken, either willingly or not. So it's like you're watching these people going, okay, when are they going to leave now? They're not leaving. Why are they not leaving? And it's just kind of funny how the whole thing comes together. There's a lot of really darkly humorous parts to it. I've very
heard
Scandinavian.
I've heard there was bits where people went to see this and felt like they should be laughing, but they didn't know if they should be.
Oh,
you know
God,
what I mean?
I laughed because it was funny, and Brian and I are both like looking at each other like, this thing is fucking weird. It's totally weird. It ends really... You can see this thing coming a mile away, but it's horrific in various psychologically weird ways.
So, okay, let me ask you the question of questions. Do I go see this in the movies, or is it okay just to wait?
You could wait. There's really nothing that'll leap out at you on the screen.
Okay.
I went because I knew it's not going to last long. I mean, when we went, we took those front row seats because it was the only two that were together, and we get there and half the theater's empty anyway, and it was a 50-seat theater. I'm like, where the fuck is everybody else? Either they didn't show up, or the theater's like, fuck you. This is where we're going to sell these seats. We could have gotten up and moved, but we didn't. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. Hereditary. I really, really liked because I didn't see it coming. This one, you can see where the story's going easily. It's just how they get there. It's so fucked up. And let me tell you, I think Midsommar is going to be better remembered than Hereditary.
Really?
Because it is something that you will think about for a long time afterwards. There's a lot of conversation going on in this movie that's going to happen after the fact. You're just going to talk about like this scene, or why didn't they do this, or what was going on here, and it's all in daylight. There's not,
right, because they're in the area where it's sunny for.
Well, it's up in northern Sweden, so it's
right.
You get 16 hours of sunlight.
All right, I got to check this thing out.
It's fun. I really enjoyed it. And the lead actress is great. She's fantastic. She just eats up the screen. It's just going.
The guy who plays Chidi in The Good Places in this, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that was another thing that Brian really liked about it. So yeah,
I like him. He's cool.
I really enjoyed this movie. It's difficult to.
So is it a horror movie?
It's a horror movie on the lines of The Wicker Man, and there's a lot of comparisons being made to The Wicker Man. It's not like The Wicker Man. It's on a different level.
Yeah,
I mean, like, so is it? So it's closer to like 7 than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Sure.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to put it into terms of something I would be able to relate it to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a gory movie, and it's not a jump scare movie. As a matter of fact, there's nothing in it that's going to scare you.
Kind of a psychological thriller.
It's totally psychological. Yeah. It's totally
okay. So
up.
I might actually enjoy it then, is what I'm getting.
Maybe. Yeah. If you watched Hereditary and expected a lot of jump scares too, there were a few, but this one has.
No, I've honestly never seen Hereditary.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
I still haven't seen it yet. God, I got to check it out.
Yeah, but Midsommar is just so completely different. If you have, and a lot of people have said this too, if you have any kind of mental health issues, you may not want to watch it alone, especially in the very beginning of the film. The opening scenes are devastating. It's what drives the main character to go to Sweden.
Okay.
And it's pretty goddamn heavy. I don't want to say horrific. It is horrific, but it's heavy. It's heavy shit that can happen to anybody.
Right.
It's fucked up.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I want to check it out. All right, Lou, let's talk real quick because we went last week. I wanted to bring this up and give them credit where credit's due. We went to Fitchburg, Massachusetts last week.
Oh, home of donut shops.
Home of donut shops.
Apparently.
With Chris Frodell, the six-packer. Yep. Keith Gleason, who is an awesome guy, runs Plastic City Comic-Con.
Yep.
He is currently the writer of Alternate Comics, Mighty Mascots. Yep. And he had us up, and John couldn't make that, but me, you, and him went up there. We hung out with a bunch of our friends there. We hung out with Joey and Marcellus from So Wizard Podcast. We hung out with Keith, obviously. Yep. We hung out with Mitch Halleck from Terrificon.
I have a wonderful trivia video which will be going up.
Don't engage Mitch in Star Wars trivia ever. It's bad. It's bad. It's interesting, but it's bad.
It was awesome.
This is a guy that bought a 7-foot
Jabba sail
barge.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, he didn't like one of the questions that was in our trivia, which we didn't write, by the way. It's Hasbro Trivial Pursuit Star Wars Edition. And it's quite a funny video of him getting really pissed off about this. We saw Tom Ryan.
Yep. Of course.
We saw Funk and Sal from Robert Bears Inc. And we went up and we spent the day there. It was a very cool show. For $5 you get in. It's a one-day show. It was on an ice rink, much like CT Horror Fest was last year.
Yeah.
John about fainted when Larry Hama walked by. That was
Larry
great.
Hama. Here's a great story.
Larry Hama just walks.
Well,
go ahead. Yeah.
We're set our table up and everything, right? So Larry Hama is like the guest of honor there.
No. When you say just to put in perspective, when we say set the table, I mean we have banners out. We've got tons of it. I mean, like we. It's not like we just have like a little table in the corner. We have both banners there.
Two banners
we had everything
up. We had comic books all over the place for
comic books, the whole 9 yards.
Pins. So I go to take a leak, come back. We set up the tables, and Larry Hama is the guest of honor there. And really, when it comes to like big comic book talent, he's like the guy there. Joe Caramango was there, but there really was just Larry Hama was like the big guy there. And we're outside. We were outside of the rink. That's where we were set up. Like kind of like when people were coming down. So people coming down, check on us out.
It was actually a prime spot.
It was a really good spot.
Yeah.
It was a really good spot. And at one point where we were fully set up and I'm standing there, and all of a sudden I see this guy come out.
Oh, and mind you, I have 2 tripods with all the camera gear set up. You know the setup, John. Mm-hmm. So I've got 2 tripods, the camera gear, the whole 9 yards. I've got my, I'm getting ready to go. So I mean, it's.
Yeah, he walks over, and I immediately, oh shit, that's Larry Hama. He's wearing a black T-shirt with the Arashikaj symbol on the back, and he's got his hands behind his back, and he walks out, and he's looking around, and he looks over at our table, and as I'm standing there, he walks over and he's looking at our table, and I'm like, holy fuck, Larry Hama is going to ask us what we do, and he's got his hands behind his back, he's looking at our table, and he looks up at me, and I go, how you doing, Mr. Hama? And he goes, where do I get coffee? And I looked at him and I said, I'm fairly certain upstairs. I think that's where all the food and drink is.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny on multiple levels. He is Mr. Coffee.
Yeah, he was looking for the coffee. But like I said, hands behind his back and looking at our banners, and I'm like, maybe he's just going to ask. Maybe he's going to say, what do you guys do? And even if he's not interested, it's going to be cool to talk to him for a couple minutes. And no, it's like, where do I get some coffee around here?
Should have said, I'll show you if you want to come on the radio show.
No, I asked him once. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
I emailed Larry Hama when we were doing the radio show towards the beginning, like maybe the first 6 months. And I appreciated his honesty. I emailed Larry Hama. I somehow had gotten his direct email. Mm-hmm. I messaged him. And he answered, and he said, I don't even do interviews anymore. He goes, I have no reason to do interviews anymore.
That's true.
He goes, I'm really not promoting the G.I. Joe book other than what I do. I write it and put it out. And he goes, I have no mood to talk about my career or self that much anymore.
Oh, that's
and
fine.
I told him, I said, dude, thank you so much for your time. And he was like, no problem. But it was a real answer. Yeah. It wasn't like, I won't do your piddly show. It was just like, I don't even want to do interviews anymore.
Nah,
because really, he's probably in his 70s now, and he's still working, right? I mean,
he's in his 70s.
Oh man, if he's not, I'm not. He looked like he might be in his 70s. Can you look up Lou? How old Larry
Hama is?
Because
when I saw him at Terrificon last year, he didn't look that old. But,
I would say
he's been in the business for a long time. So
yeah.
He's got a lot of other.
His booth was pretty crowded all day. He was doing sketches for $40, and
you're doing for $40. Shit.
Yeah, he was making money all day long.
Yeah. But he is 70 on the nose.
No shit.
Yeah,
June 7th actually. So happy birthday,
Larry.
Happy
birthday, Larry Hama.
Happy birthday, Larry Hama.
It was very cool, and it was a good show. And thanks to Keith for setting us up with the table. And thanks to Joey and Marcellus for hanging out with us and everybody just having a fun time. Chris had a great time. We all had a good time. Yeah. But we had one of our single most Pint Comics moments ever. Is we were interviewing Keith, and this is out on YouTube now. So please,
really check
go
it
to
out.
our YouTube channel and subscribe. Ring the bell, the whole 9 yards. But it's titled Flamingos.
Hang on, I'll pull it up because I actually added to it, so the title's a little bit longer, so that way people can find it a little bit easier.
Yeah. So we're in the middle of interviewing Keith Gleason, and I made a joke to Keith because
it was not in the middle.
It is entitled Coffee, Flamingos, Donuts, and Comics.
It was very
otherwise
early.
known as the Donut Girl of Fitchburg.
Donut Girl of Fitchburg.
I mean, maybe 5 minutes in or less before the whole thing derailed.
Well, the thing was so good, and that was what I said to Keith with it. And this was what was so great about it was that even Keith turned around on it because we're talking to Keith, and I wanted to ask him two questions. I want to ask him why it was the Plastic City. Answer being is that they created the plastic
the pink lawn
flamingo was created there.
Which I'm trying to remember. Did that get answered before she derailed?
That was before.
It was
that
before.
was before.
Okay.
The second question was
we noticed on when we were in Fitchburg, the 6 minutes we were in Fitchburg till we got to the place, we saw 18 fucking donut shops.
Yeah.
So I said, what's up with all the donut shops? And this girl who was behind the camera.
No. It bears just it was a hockey rink at a university, and the rink was on the lower level. So when you came in upstairs, and you went down a flight of stairs to where the rink was. The rink was lower because then they had the seating around it. This girl was at the top of the stairs. I don't know if you saw that or not. She was at the top of the stairs, and you said, how many donut shops are there? And she made a beeline down the stairs right to the table.
Okay.
I mean, she was right in there, yeah.
She comes down the stairs, and she starts telling us about every donut shop that there is in Fitchburg.
It's awesome.
And then the killer part is, because you can see this in the video, so I won't spoil it, but she goes on forever. Keith at one point looks at me and says, cut all this out.
Yeah.
And
Keith at the
beginning,
the first 30 seconds, he's like, edit it.
Right.
And then at the end, he's like,
he said, you can't cut that out.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it was a 10-minute video. We talked to Keith for 3 minutes. The 7 minutes was her interrupting us talking about donuts and coffee.
On and on.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And where she works.
My God, size. And then, this whole thing about where she works, and it's...
And she never gets on camera. It's
no,
just
she never gets on camera.
Her arm gets in it, I think, at one point, but that's it.
So just trying to be polite, I said, okay, well, we're going to go. We're definitely going to check out Gourmet Donuts. And and when the show went to 7 and we decided to leave at 5 because it was really thinning out.
Yeah.
And we 2 hour ride back, so we wanted to get something to eat. So we come back in from from hanging out on the floor for a few minutes, and we start packing. And there was like a locker, like an equipment locker right across from us that was about bench high. And when me and Chris, I think, come back in to go grab the stuff and get Lou, tell him we're gonna go, she's sitting there. And she had said to me on the floor at one point, I passed by her, she goes, you gonna get some of those gourmet donuts? And I went, you better believe it. And now she's sitting there, and in my head, I'm like, she's fucking waiting for us. Luckily enough, we got to pack up, and she did say something. She's like, you gonna get those donuts?
You get those gourmet?
Yeah, we're gonna go. We're leaving right the fuck now. And luckily, we got out of Fitchburg safe and sound.
Donut free.
Donut free.
I'm actually glad she never. I'm glad she never made it on camera for a couple of reasons. One, because of the mystique.
Yeah.
2, I love the fact that basically she did that whole thing without. I don't even think she realized there was a camera rolling.
No.
And 3, I didn't want to get into any rights issues and whatnot with having her likeness on a camera. So
she wasn't hamming it up.
She wasn't there. No,
she was an insane donut person.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even think she realized there was a camera rolling.
No, she had no clue. Because at several points I said to her, okay, we're going to continue to do this. And she's like, oh, and by the way, there's 86 different flavors of coffee. And she's just got that. Oh, and
you get the 2. This is 2 size of 2 large Dunkins, $4.
It's called the Oh My God. The other most Massachusetts moment of the day, and I'll leave it off on this.
Oh my God size.
This was my other favorite moment of the day. Was early on when we first got there. We set everything up and we're sitting there talking, and this girl walks by, probably in her 30s, and she's wearing a New Kids on the Block shirt.
Oh God, the poor girl, you upset?
No. Oh no.
Never mind. That was.
This girl's walking by with a New Kids on the Block shirt, and as she's walking by, I just said to her, I go, "Quick, who's your favorite New Kid?" And the most Massachusetts sound clip of the day. I wish we recorded it. She just looks at me and goes, "Donnie."
Yeah.
Fitchburg is 40 miles outside of Boston.
Yeah.
Here's what's weird about the Boston area is my buddy James lives in Marlboro, which is closer. And I've gone up to Marlboro and everything, and he's not from there, but his wife and they all live up there. And I've been to a restaurant, and I don't hear that accent. Fitchburg is further out, but north, and it's that accent everywhere. Yeah. Like Heath, kind of has it. Everybody has it to a degree, but then you go 20 miles out in Marlboro and you don't hear it as much.
Well, Fitchburg may be more of a, I hate to put it this way, maybe more of a towny area where you get into a place that's like a suburb of Boston. There might be a lot of people who move there to Boston to work in, to take train in and out every day. Yeah. Fitchburg may be more. But yeah, I mean, I've recorded a lot of footage for us in the time I've been doing it, and that was the greatest piece of footage I've ever recorded.
That was certainly good. It was certainly good. All right, we're getting to the sweat my balls off point of the night. So so let's bring this down. John, anything you want to throw in there? You want anybody to go check anything out?
Keep listening to the radio. We got good stuff coming up.
Yep, WESUFM.org, Sunday nights at 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be back this week, as a matter of fact.
Sure now.
I'll be back for at least a couple weeks, and I'm still trying to work on getting back. I've been off for 2 fucking months, man. But it's been kind of cool though in a way to have to have Mitch there. Mitch has been helping out, Mitch Halleck from Terrificon, which, by the way, we hear this. Go to www.terrificon.com and get your tickets, because that is quickly approaching August 9th through the 11th. It's
very soon.
It is the best big comic book show down here in the Northeast area. It's awesome. It's terrific. It's wonderful. It's all those things above. And Lou is continuing putting out awesome videos. Please go to YouTube. Please subscribe. Hit the red button there.
And we also started the new video podcast. Yes, for anyone who doesn't know,
we've been doing some video podcast episodes where we go to BoomTube Comics.
I have the second one ready to upload.
We kind of travel down the wall and talk about books that have been out in the last couple weeks, and it's been a lot of fun too. Check BoomTube out at boomtubecomics.com, 1475 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike. If you're in the Connecticut area, if you're not, then follow them on Instagram and all that good stuff. For Pint of Comics, I am Johnny Ganache. Sir John is over there. Sir John and Lou Skywalker wearing his Yankee shirt here.
Damn right.
And Lou, why don't you do the honors?
See ya.
Sweating out.
It's over, Johnny. It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
Ooh, my little pretty one. My pretty one.
My Sharona. That's got a long guitar solo in it, right?
It does.
Yeah. Goes on forever.
Running down the length of my thigh, Sharona. Ooh, you make my motor run.